It is time for another replay commentary brought to you by SSB StarCraft Sportsbook. Today this match will be between the red Protoss player, Protoss if you couldn't gather from his name, and me, the blue Terran. And if you look at the text chat, you can see that Protoss is confused. This is a new map developed by Blizzard. It is called Slag Pits, and it is also my first match on this map as well. So you guys will just need to see if I win or lose this battle. Anyways, since there's not really a lot you can commentate on this match at the beginning of the game, I am going to talk more about SSB, StarCraft Sportsbook, and basically it's going to be a gambling website where you can bet on the outcomes between high-level players in StarCraft 2. And the best part is you don't even need to use your own money. We're going to be using ad revenue generated through YouTube and our website, and we're going to give you the money to play. You're essentially playing with house cash because otherwise it would be in violation of state and federal gambling laws. And if you're one of the very few people who have been watching our replays from the beginning, you might be able to tell that my voice quality is a bit higher this time because I've gotten a new microphone. And it's not like one of those cheapo microphones that you get from Logitech. This is a cardioid USB microphone, so it is of much higher quality, and it also looks pretty cool. And anyways, we can see that I've went in the exact wrong direction, and I won't find his base for quite a while. Meanwhile, it seems like he has gone in the wrong direction as well, so it'll be a while before we scout each other's bases. If you look at what I'm doing, I've got my refinery going up, and my barracks is going up as well. If we take a look at Protoss, he's got his own gateway almost done. His assimilator just finished warping in, and right now it seems to be a standard build by both players. And it looks like my SCV has realized there is no base here. He has not realized that either. So both of us are going to be scouting relatively late into the game, and this is always a bad thing for both players, because usually you have one zealot or a pair of zerglings or a marine up at this point, and that can chase the scouting drone away, so that's a real problem. Anyways, we do see that Protoss is completely confused. I'm not sure he knows where the starting positions are. He obviously did not take a geometry class. He can't tell that there's pretty nice symmetry between all of these maps, so he is finally going to scout me very late into the game, probably at about 4:30 in, so that's pretty bad for him. Right now we do see that the Protoss player is going warp gate. We should see probably a 4-gate going on, and this isn't a big concern for me. 4 gates are nothing special for Protoss players. Usually you want to do them against Zerg players, but it can work against 10 players as well, especially if they don't have a very large army in the beginning. Right now my lone marine takes care of that pesky little probe, and I do have an SCV returning back to base. And as you can see, I am going for my 3 racks build. It really works against unsuspecting players. If they don't have a very large army in the beginning, usually I can take it in a very decisive battle. And right now, if we take a look at the economy, both players are relatively even. He is slightly ahead of me due to chrono boosting the Nexus, so there is a 2 harvester delta. And if we look at the army value, we can see that both players have very small armies. Then again, that is to be expected at 5:30 into the game time, and right now I have concussive shells researching. When it's done, usually I like to take out this small token force and see if I can do any damage with it, because what this does is it allows me to test the strength of the Protoss player. It also tells me if I should be wary of some sort of Dark Templar push, because usually if you go DTs, you're only going to really have a Stalker at the beginning, and one Stalker is not going to be a match against 7 Marines and 2 Marauders. So that way you can do some very good economic damage in before you have to contend with those DTs. And if you know there's not a lot of units there, then you can easily take out most of the Protoss player's economy before he can get DTs in. Right now I do see that he's gone a standard 4-gate build, so I retreat, and right now I'm moving all of my units back. I still need to wait on Stimpack to finish researching. And right now there's not much to report about. We do see that he's getting a lot more sentries. And sentries are so good for the Protoss. The Guardian Shield and the Force Field really help against every army composition because you split up their forces, you force them to deal with you piecemeal, and that really hurts the combat effectiveness of your total army because only half of your army is really battling at that point. We do see that the Protoss is moving out, and it's not going to work out well for him. I catch that Lone Stalker. He moves the bulk of his units back, and let's see. Yes, Stimpack has just finished researching. I am getting combat shields as well. And if we look at the army report, my army is much larger than his, although it is less gas intensive. And right now he just realizes there's an army battle going, and right now it looks like I'll be able to take this very handily, taking out all of his sentries. And right now he has 4 stalkers running away, which he has to. And oh, that was a bad waypoint decision. He had his sentry moving on his gateway waypoint, and that was just really, oh no, he has warp gates, so I guess he just didn't realize it. And with a judicious use of Guardian Shield, he is able to block off his ramp, and this is what I hate the most, because even if you engage a Protoss player and take out most of his army, all he needs to do is just have one sentry there to force field the ramp, and there's nothing you can do about it because you can't go up the ramp, and if you try, and you won't get any vision either, so the stalkers can rain down fire on you with complete impunity. And right now we do see I am grabbing the natural expansion. Combat shields is almost up, and if we look at the army report, my army is still larger than his in terms of supply, but there is still the issue of those sentries. They are so problematic against Terran players, and we do see that he is moving out again, and let's see if I am able to repel this attack. And yes, we do see me going in, and he is going to lose that stalker. Is he going to engage? Yes, he is going to engage, and he's going to lose all of these zealots, but that's not too big of an issue. And it looks like I am going to take this battle again, which just underscores the dominance of the Marine Marauder matchup. And he warps in essentially and gets off his force field. I am forced to retreat. There's nothing I can do. And with that, if we take a look at the units lost, it has definitely not gone well for Protoss. He has lost over 2-1 in the exchange ratio, and that is why Terran Marine Marauder early game dominance has to be pushed for as long as possible. Which is why, I've lately been, pushing up the ramp with a handful of units early on in the game, and why I keep the pressure going. And right now, this Marine is going to buy the farm to that Zealot. There was absolutely nothing he could do. And right now, I am suspicious because I did try and scout out his natural. He hasn't gotten it up yet. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he's put it up somewhere else, which is a real possibility, because if you put it up in a different part of the map and have a pylon there, usually you can ward off a raiding party with a proxy pylon warping in some units. And if I have the bulk of my units there, he can just go into my main base and wreak havoc. So that is something Protoss players should consider. We do see that I am trying to get saturation up at my natural. He does have one Zealot here, and he's going to rain absolute chaos on this mule. And he was able to get there. And right now, you do see me scrambling to get this Zealot because he is doing a lot of damage. He's already taken down 2 mules. That's a lot of lost future income. Right now, if we look at the army report, my army is much larger than his, mainly because it looks like he is going to transition into a static defense build to protect his natural, whereas I already have my natural going up, so that should give me a decisive economic advantage in about 2 minutes or so. We do see that I am getting my starport up, 2 medevacs, 2 Vikings on the way, along the 4 barracks chugging out Marines and Marauders. I do have weapons 1, and does he have any upgrades? No, he does not. So this is going to be a very good advantage for me, and we do see that Protoss is grabbing a 3rd base, and this is going to be very bad for him, because if we look at the total army size, he's completely screwed. If I decide to attack now, he is going to be in a lot of trouble. And right now, if we take a look at the army composition, we do see 6 Stalkers, 4 Sentries, 13 Marauders, 21 Marines, and 2 Medevacs for me. Oh, and 1 Zealot for Protoss. So this is going to be very, very bad for him. I am going to move out very soon, and when that happens, he just doesn't have the army size to respond. And let's take a look. He is getting saturation at his second base, his natural. And right now, if you look at the army size, this is completely lopsided. My army is about 3 times as large as his, and this is going to be very problematic for Protoss. He just does not have the army size large enough to deal with this Marine Marauder Medevac force. So this is going to be the decisive push. I don't think there is a chance in hell he can win this battle. And I should know because I did play the game, but I mean it's obvious to anybody that this is not going to go well. And he does try and use force field, but it's not going to be enough. I still have way too many units for him to deal with. And oh, he does catch a lot of these units here, which is problematic for me, but it doesn't matter because his army is still too small. There's nothing he can do. And even though we do see that the resource loss have been swinging in his favor for this battle, it's still not going to be enough. I have a much larger army, and I do also have upgrades, which he doesn't, so that's going to tilt in my favor as well. And it looks like he's going to be forced to GG very, very soon. There's absolutely nothing he can do. I'm rushing reinforcements in, and he has left the game. So there you go, my very first match on Slag Pit, and I have won it. Due to a 3 racks rush transitioning into a 4 racks build with a relatively late natural, and if he had just gotten some Robotech up, he might have been able to hold it off. I think he was going to try and transition into Templar, which did not work out very well for him because he was unable to... Oh, he did have a Robo base, so... I mean, excuse me, a robotics facility, so it's hard to see what he was trying to do. He did need to get up Colossi if he was going to have a chance to win this game, and he just didn't have it. And that is the peril of expanding too fast. You can't grab a second and third base, especially when the Terran player has shown signs of early aggression, because there's no guarantee that he's going to settle down into a longer term economy oriented game, and Protoss paid the price for that. And with that, my name is Rapier. I am signing off until next time.